Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And I'm Lacey G.
And today we have a lot to talk about. Miss Swift was very busy in Melbourne over the weekend. We got to get to some clips from listeners who were there. We got to get to a rundown of some things that she did during her performances. We've got to pick our surprise songs for Sydney. We have a lot going on today.
Yes. And we have to lay down some rules, Nick, because I think...
Hold on.
Things
Why
are about to
you're
get
like
crazy.
automatically getting mad at me.
I'm
I haven't
not
said
mad.
anything.
I'm just specifying. You're running down what we have to do.
Oh.
I'm saying we're gonna have to set down some ground rules.
Can
because
you schedule in a fight into that itinerary?
Right, Nick,
Just-
you don't like the conversations we usually have when we're putting the rules down.
No, what I don't like is you three making things more complicated than they need to be.
They're
So
not complicated.
I'm here with you, Nick, and
Okay.
that's why I'm saying we need to set down some ground rules.
Okay.
Because if not, because Taylor Swift was unhinged this last
Yeah.
weekend,
She
and
was
I think that's going to add more into play whenever we're doing our song picks. But because other people in this room want to play against the rules to have more points for them, then I think that we have to set down ground rules.
talking about
I
you?
think I could be in the mix. I think there's more than one person that could be wanting more points.
actually-
I just don't think we've ever played against the rules. We've just tried to be clear on the
Right.
rules.
Exactly.
She introduces new things. We have to adjust for that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
Nick, if I had to specify who I was talking about, I believe there are 3 people in this room who one time picked a given song choice that had already been played that weekend. So you would actually be in that mix too.
That actually would have been fine if you just went along with it, and then it wouldn't have even mattered because
But
it
I
would have been
didn't.
the exact same.
But I didn't. So I think that we do need to set ground rules. That way everybody isn't just playing for points. We're playing for real.
It looks like Nick's checked out.
y'all just decide whatever it is, and I'm okay with it.
Okay, so let's recap what happened and why we even have to figure out how we're going to move forward. So, by the way, we got a lot of lovely messages from our listeners. It's pronounced Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne.
Like
With no R.
one of our listeners said it's almost like you don't have enough time for all the extra vowels.
Okay.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Melbourne.
Are you saying an R or are you not saying an R
They
at the
spelled it like
Melbourne?
like MEL-BIN.
end? Okay, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Okay,
Okay.
good to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Melbourne. Hopefully that's right.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Just say it fast.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. So Taylor performed in Melbourne for 3 nights, and chaos
Yeah.
from night 1,
Yes.
right? So during the surprise song section, she decided to reveal new artwork for the Tortured Poets Department. What's harder to say, Melbourne or the Tortured Poets Department? The Tortured Poets Department with a new song called The Bolter.
And earlier in the show, didn't she say she's going to come back to the Tortured Poets Department anyway? So I think it was during Champagne Problem speech. She teased like, oh, and I'm going to talk more about the Tortured Poets Department in a little bit. So people were like, what are you even going to do? And I believe Taylor Nation tweeted about it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't watching live. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Middle of the night for us. I didn't watch it live, but that's stuff that I caught the next day. So people were already like, what is she going to do night 1? Because they teased it and Taylor Nation confirmed it as well.
Yeah, well, because during the acoustic section, first she played Red, and then she did can I please your attention towards the screen? And she showed the new artwork, and then she kind of was setting it up by like, she said something along the lines about how songwriting was basically a lifeline for her the last 2 years, and with this album, she said it's the most important that songwriting has ever been for her, which just breaks my heart already. So I'm really, I don't know. I'm interested to just the whole album is going to be fantastic, obviously, but with the little hints that she's giving us, and in the new artwork, it also had what we can only assume is a lyric on the back cover, kind of like with the first one. But then she was like, so she basically said something like, the new song, The Bolter, or this is like an exclusive bonus track or whatever. And then she started talking about the song she was about to play. And so she was saying, like, I've never played the song live before. So I was watching live because of the morning show. The time worked out nicely. So I was actually driving into work and I had the stream pulled up. So I'm driving. Thank goodness I didn't crash my car, because she was like, I've never played this live before. And I was like, oh my God, is she about to play The Bolter? Like, is she about to like literally play a never before heard song before? And I was so, in that moment, I was curious. I was like, is the crowd going to scream? Is the crowd going to attempt to sing along? Like, how is this going to go? Are we going to even get to hear what she's saying? Like, I don't understand how this is going to work. And then she started playing You're Losing Me, which was also heartbreaking and like devastating. I got to work right as she started playing You're Losing Me, and I just sat in the car and listened to her play it. And I was like, oh my God.
I watched that live performance on repeat. She killed it, and it was so heartbreaking watching that song. Also, does anyone else have FOMO the week after you see everything that she performed, and it's like, ooh, I almost picked that song. I almost picked that song.
Yeah,
and
but
then you didn't.
But you did pick Red.
Mhm.
You had picked it for later. You'd picked it for night 3, but she played it night 1, so that's already a half point for you, Lacey. You were the first one to score
On the board.
First one on the board. And then the second night, this is when what happened? She starts playing. Well, she starts the surprise song section by saying something like, "I want to play something for you guys that I know you're all gonna love." And she starts with "Getaway Car."
Woohoo!
Fan favorite.
Yeah.
Crowd goes nuts. And then she shifts it into August, which everyone's like, "What is happening?" Like, wait,
It's already
August
in the
is already
set.
on the set list. That's nuts. Oh my God, she's doing a mashup. That's crazy. And then she did the outro to The Other Side of the Door.
Which was great. What an
Beautiful.
outro.
Arguably one of her best outros across her
Yeah.
discography, we can all agree, but this was the first time she's ever mashed up 3 songs. Amy!
I know. I don't know. I don't know what to guess at this point.
This is nuts. And we had a few friends that were there. Vinoj, Mr. Perfectly Fine 13, he was there. DJ Raj, he was also there in the crowd. So it was really cool to know Michael, Life by Michael. He was also there, for this just iconic night. I watched so many videos of just reactions of people being like, "Wait, what's going on?" And someone was like, you already, as a SwifTEA, you already feel the anxiety of trying to identify the song from her first few notes. You don't get it. Then she starts singing, and you start singing along, but you're like, "What is this?" And then you get it. But now we have to feel that throughout the entire performance. It's not just at the beginning of the song and you got it and you're good. No. You can be nervous for the bridge and then be nervous for the outro. So she did that, and then she did This Is Me Trying. So out of those 4 songs, none of us had guessed any of those. And then on the last night, she did another mashup of Come Back, Be Here and Daylight.
So cool.
So cool. So beautiful. And I saw a SwifTEA on Twitter said something like, Taylor went to one club in Las Vegas and heard her own songs remixed and decided to take it upon herself to always remix her songs. So she did that and Teardrops on My Guitar. So I had Daylight. She did Daylight as a mashup. So do I still get a point?
Yeah.
I think a full point.
Yeah,
full
that's
point.
fine.
Okay.
Is this the controversy?
No,
No.
it's
Oh.
coming.
It's coming. So after Melbourne, I have 1 point on the board. Lacey has a half point. Nick and Amy, a couple of goose eggs. Nothing for you guys so far. So
Also, Taylor did say she doesn't want to play by the rules anymore.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
That's
if
obvious,
she
Taylor.
wants to, if she wants to play something, she's gonna play it. So
she said as many times as she wants.
nothing's off the table anymore. And with her doing mashups in a row, we're wondering, is that gonna be? Is that how she's changing it up now? Is she going to just surprise us by playing whatever she wants in any kind of mashup?
And I wonder why, because looking at these song selections, someone had pointed out Getaway Car, August, The Other Side of the Door. The theme between those is that they all have to do with cheating, but from different perspectives. So Getaway Car is the cheater, right? August is the person you're cheating with, and the other side of the door is a person that got cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's just an interesting connection between the three. But it's like, was that on purpose, or did she just try to give fan favorite songs to people?
I think it was on purpose. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I think, like, going into this weekend, we were all like, oh, my gosh, she's in, like, a very lovey-dovey stage with Travis. She's so happy she's going to do love songs. But I think she's, like, back to business.
Sure.
I need to get you guys ready for the Tortured Poets department. And so let's let's focus on that, you know? But it's going to be interesting in Sydney because there's rumors that Travis is going to be there for a couple of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So is she still going to stick to business and get us ready for the Tortured Poets department and sing sad songs, or is she going to be happy that Travis is there and sing happy songs?
I don't know. Maybe sing some sad songs to give Travis a little warning. In person, in front of 90,000 people. You better act right, buddy.
Yeah. So moving forward with our game, how do we want to do our guesses? Like, can we guess mashups? How many songs can we guess? Points? How are we doing this?
Nick, how do you feel?
Why are we trying to make this so complicated? Y'all are confusing. Y'all can't even explain it.
So how would
Just
you
keep it the
did.
same. Just keep
how
the
would
same
you keep
point.
it simple?
Just keep it the same.
No, I want mashups.
Just keep it the same.
Yeah, I want to guess mashups as well.
So now it's time to get into the conversation about the surprise songs moving forward in the game. Because, like we said, Taylor was very chaotic in Melbourne, and she said this on stage.
I want to be as creative as possible with the acoustic set moving forward. And, like, I don't want to limit anything, and I don't want to just say, like, oh, if I played a song before, I can't play it again. So from now on, I'm just going to, like, I don't want to take any paint colors out of the paint box of colors. I don't want to take any tools out of the toolbox. What's the metaphor I'm looking for? I want to be able to play songs more than once if I feel like it, and I want to be able to make changes to songs and be creative. Does that sound okay?
So basically, she can do whatever she wants.
She can do anything you want. She played some mashups while she was in Melbourne. So we got to figure out what we're doing with our game moving forward. And the three ladies have decided on some rules. So I'll let you guys explain the rules.
Okay, so this was previously discussed, but this is what I think we have decided on. Since she is unhinged and possibly doing more mashups than she has in the past, we're going to up our guesses from 2 songs per night to 3 in case she does a mashup. So we each get up to 3 guesses. You don't have to do all 3 guesses if you don't want to, but up to 3 guesses. And the same rules apply. If you guess the correct song on the correct night, you get a point. If you guess a song that she does on a different night, you get a half point, regardless on if it's a mashup or not. It just depends on what night she plays it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the only thing that's changing is that now we can guess 3 songs instead
And
of 2.
bragging rights if you do get the right.
If you do get the right mashup, I mean, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
How do you like it, Nick?
I think it's great.
Good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Thank you for being agreeable, Nick.
Now, the part of the audio that had been cut out of this podcast, I did not love it. Did not like it. But also, I will say, these were not the original rules.
No, they weren't.
No,
we
no,
had
no, no,
three
no, no.
different opinions on what we should do, and it was all extremely complicated and confusing about 4 songs. Can we get more than 4 song guesses? Can we get half points, this points, a third of a points? It was way too confusing. I suggested just not changing anything. I suggested just move forward like we've been
did.
playing it this entire time.
Yeah.
Because I also don't think she's going to be playing a mashup every single night. She would blow through her entire discography pretty
Sure.
fast. Now, she did say she can play whatever she wants whenever she wants. So she could play Cornelia Street every single surprise set the rest of tour if she wanted to.
The
But-
thing is, she's going to do whatever she wants.
Totally.
We could
She
sit
is.
here and be like, she's never going to do 3 song mashups ever again and then do only that moving forward.
No.
You
I don't
know?
think, I'm not saying she's never going to do them again. I don't know if she's going to be doing them every single night for the rest of the tour.
Sure.
The future will tell us what patterns are going to happen. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what Taylor's telling us is that there is no pattern.
I agree with you.
Which I would love that. I
That's-
would love if she is just throwing a
Yeah.
wrench in everybody's chain. I would love
Yeah.
that. I do. But for
Okay.
the record, I said don't change anything. But I'm going to agree with all you guys because y'all really want to do it. So
Yep.
that's cool.
The only thing that is changing is that you can guess 3 songs.
Correct. All right. So are we going to start guessing our guesses for Sydney?
Yes.
Okay. So, for Sydney, she's there for 4 nights. Goodness gracious, Taylor. So I think on Friday, she's going to do Stay, 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 Don't Go, and Clean.
Very nice.
Those are my 3 guesses. All right. Lacey, what are your guesses?
All right. I have, this would ideally be a mashup for me. Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. You should have said no. But I also think for a third song she could perform, I Think He Knows.
All right. So
Amy?
I have Hits Different with I Almost Do as a typical, not a typical, potential mashup with Last Kiss.
Ooh. All right.
Wait, you said Hits Different, mashed
And-
it up with I Almost Do?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, I did.
That's nuts.
It is nuts.
And then what was the third one that you said?
Last Kiss.
Last Kiss. Okay.
All right, Anna, what you thinking for Friday night?
Okay. So I was really trying to come up with like the most unhinged Taylor Swift combos I could think of because she is crazy. So for Sydney Night 1, I have Should Have Said No, Should Have Said No.
Yarr.
And then I have the potential mashup of Better Man with Happiness. Because I just think that would be really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because she could, do the Better Man and then go into When a Good Man Hurts You. Oh man, that would hurt me.
I see it.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
good.
I spent a lot of time thinking about my mashups. So that's what I have.
Are y'all just mad at me because y'all sat and thought about all these
Yes.
mashups and I was just poo-pooing
I'm
on it?
not mad. I almost want to go back to the original, but this is just so much fun. It
Sure.
brings me joy.
Good. Great. I love it.
Yes, that is why I'm mad. To answer your question.
But I didn't know that y'all were doing that.
I know it wasn't fair.
Yeah, y'all
you
gotta.
can't-
No,
Head
it's
start on
it's actually your fault to not think about it
Yeah,
because the three
my
of us
fault.
did.
Yeah, my fault. Y'all are texting on the side, I'm sure.
No.
Hey,
I
joke on me.
swear.
Let's make them lose this game again. All right. Saturday in Sydney, I believe that Taylor's going to perform New Romantics, Gorgeous, and or Out of the Woods.
Ooh.
Lacey.
All right. I have Right Where You Left Me, mashed up with Breathe. And for my third song, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things.
Very nice.
Love that. Amy, what you thinking?
I think she's going to do That's When with Keith Urban, mashed up with Babe.
Ooh, that's a good mashup.
Are you saying Keith is going to be there?
I think so.
Whoa, that'd be cool.
Do you get an extra point for that?
No, I don't think we should complicate it any more than what it is. And then by itself, I have All You Had to Do Was Stay.
She's going to bring Keith Urban just for a mashup?
I mean,
Keith is going to be on stage for 10
He
seconds?
lives there.
is he Australian?
Hold on.
Are you kidding?
Are you kidding? I can't tell. You're too good of
I
an
knew.
actress.
I know that Nicole Kidman is Australian. Is Keith Urban also Australian?
Hold on. I don't know if she's joking here. Are you joking?
I think she's serious.
I think she's joking.
Okay, are you joking?
No.
All right, Anna, what you thinking?
Okay. So I saw a theory that I think is actually a really good theory about how leading up to the Tortured Poets department, Taylor is going to use her surprise songs to go through the 5 stages of grief.
Ooh.
And if Melbourne was the first stage of grief, which is denial, that would mean Sydney would be anger.
Yeah.
So I went with a mashup of Dancing with Our Hands Tied with Picture to Burn. Because that could be like, swaying as the room burned down. You're just another picture to burn. That'd be nuts. And then the third song by itself I have is Closure. I Don't Need Your Closure.
Very nice.
All right, let's move on to Sunday in Sydney. I am predicting that Taylor's going to play The Story of Us, Peace, or Sad, Beautiful, Tragic.
Nice.
Lacey?
I have, some of these have already been guessed, but I'm thinking a mashup of Happiness and Hits Different. And the third is going to be I Forgot That You Existed.
Nice. Amy?
Yes, I have a mashup of Death by a Thousand Cuts and Ivy.
Whoa.
And then I also have I Don't Want to Live Forever.
Oh, I love that song.
If she did Death by a Thousand Cuts and Ivy as a mashup, that, like, you know how we always talk about, like, oh, which crowd, like, wins, like, which one is mother's favorite? That would 100%,
win.
that would win.
That would win.
That would win. Okay, Amy, you and I were kind of on the same page because for Sydney night 3, I have I Don't Want to Live Forever, but mashed up with Cornelia Street.
Woo!
Yeah. Wondering if I dodged a bullet or just lost the love of my life into I don't want to lose you. Oh, my God. I'm not ready for that. And then the third song by itself is that I have is Right Where You Left Me.
All right, Sydney, night 4, final night. My surprise song guesses, I believe she's going to play The Best Day, You All Over Me, or We Were Happy.
All right. I got Would've, Could've, Should've. And I Bet You Think About Me. Followed by Back to December.
All right.
All right, I have a mashup of Right Where You Left Me and Mad Woman, and I think Aaron
Whoa.
Dessner is going to join on stage because he's also going to be in Australia.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Is he
Yeah.
Australian?
No, he's not. He's
I don't
just
know
on
if-
tour.
Are you joking? I don't know if you're
We
joking
don't
or
need
not.
to know. We don't need to know.
And it's a secret I'm going to keep to myself.
And then song by itself, You're Not Sorry.
Amy, you and I were on the same page again. For night 4, I have a mashup of You're Not Sorry with I Bet You Think About Me. And then for the third song by itself, I have The Moment I Knew.
Very nice. There's a lot of overlap in our guesses.
Yeah, a lot.
Mhm.
So if she does any of them, it's gonna
Someone
be
gets a point.
interesting to
Or half point.
or just kidding.
Multiple points.
Okay, so just to recap, we each have a total of 3 guesses for each night.
Yes.
If she plays any of those songs, regardless of mashup or not, on the correct night, we get 1 point. If it's somewhere else in the weekend, we get a half point.
Agreed.
Makes sense to me.
And that's not the only new thing that we're adding this go round. We also got a voice memo from our listener, Georgia. She went to the shows this last weekend, and here's what she had to say about hearing You're Losing Me live.
We got You're Losing Me as our surprise song in Melbourne, and I cannot even explain to you, that song is my favourite of Taylor's discography at the moment. We were all making so many jokes about the possibilities of us actually getting that as a surprise song, and there's no way she's going to play it. And she did, and I can't even tell you how much we erupted. We lost our minds. I cried through the whole song. It was such an incredible experience.
So Georgia left us that really nice voice memo, and she had a lot of good things to say, so we're going to play it here at the end. And we thought it'd be cool to be able to hear from people. It was so nice to be able to hear from her. So we set up a Google number so you can call and share your thoughts with us. That number to call is 689-214-1313. We will leave it in the description. We'll have it on our socials, everything. It's 689-214-1313 if you want to call and leave us a voice memo, especially if you're going to the show, if you want to share your thoughts or feelings from there, anything like that.
What?
Oh, that was it.
Oh,
I didn't
sorry.
know where that was coming from.
Sorry. Oh, y'all could hear that in my headphones?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was listening to something else on the computer. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. Georgia messaged us when she was on her way to the shows, and she was saying how excited she was. And so we were like, hey, send us a quick voice memo after the show, just a little recap of your experience. And she actually did, and it was so cool to listen to her, like just like a firsthand account of being at those shows. And so we just thought it'd be really cool, especially as Taylor goes to more international shows, to hear from more of our international Swifties.
Yes.
And just make it, I don't know. I think it's really, really cool to hear from people that were there, and we're gonna get to hear people with a bunch of different accents.
Oh, I love that accent.
That's
It's
gonna
so
be
great.
that's gonna be really cool. So we would love for you guys to call us and leave us a voicemail after you go to one of the shows. I guess just to, I don't know if we have to set any like ground rules for it, but maybe just a few minutes of a little recap.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like give us your excitement, what you were thinking, but we would love to have you all be co-hosts on the podcast in one way or another, but we need to just keep it a little short.
How many points do they get if they call after the show versus before the show?
13.
13 points? Okay.
Yes, 13.
Man, I just love the Australian accent, and Taylor had a lot of fun with one of her dancers, Cameron Saunders, and they did this during We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together.
I mean, this is exhausting, like, we're never getting back together. Like, no.
I love it. Like, no.
Did he only do that one night, or did he do that every night?
I'm not sure if he did it every night or not. I don't know, but that night was funny.
That's so funny. That's so cute.
He's a character. He's always a lot of fun.
Well, I'm so excited to see what happens in Sydney.
Me too.
I know it's going to be a lot of fun. Is she going to do the Sydney?
She has to.
I hope so.
Sydney? I hope she
She
does.
has to. If she doesn't, the crowd will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this episode of 13, a Taylor Swift Fan Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now. Leave us a 5-star rating and a good review. We love seeing those. And you can now call the show. Our number is in the description of this podcast, along with all the other ways to contact us, our social media handles, and everything like that. So go to the description for all those goodies. And stick around, because we're going to be hearing from our Australian listener, Georgia, with her first-hand account of her experience at the Eras Tour in Melbourne. Join us next time. We're going to be doing Out of the Woods.
Hey guys, my name is Georgia. I'm an Australian SwifTEA, and I've been listening to the podcast for a while now. I still remember discovering you guys on my For You page. You kept on popping up, and I thought that you were just 4 SwifTEA friends hanging out and sharing your SwifTEA thoughts, which I guess you kind of are. But I didn't know that you had a podcast until I saw you guys breaking down Midnights, and that is what made me absolutely fall in love with your podcast. I have gone back and listened to every single episode, probably twice at this point. There's times when I'm listening to Taylor's discography and I hear a song and I can't remember the meaning or the context of what she's singing about, and I'll go back and listen to your episode about that song, and it really helps me, and I love it, and it just makes me feel more connected to Taylor and her lyrics. And so I love you guys. I'm so thankful for you and what you do for the SwifTEA community. I feel like I'm so far away from you guys being in Australia, but I absolutely love that when I'm listening to your podcast, I feel like I'm one of your friends sitting in the room with you, talking about Taylor, how much we love her, unpacking our favorite things. I love that everybody has their different favorites and their different opinions, but at the end of the day, we all just love Taylor Swift and love everything that she does. And so thank you for that. One of the things that I specifically wanted to send to you was that because of you guys, we played our very own game of Swift Bowl on our way to the Eras Tour this past weekend. So for a bit of context, I live in a town called Adelaide, which is an 8-hour drive away from Melbourne. And 4 of us were heading off to the Eras Tour in Melbourne this weekend. And so we were driving the day before, and obviously big road trip, and we were listening to Taylor's full discography right from debut through to Midnights. And about halfway through the drive, someone said, should we play a game? Should we mix it up a little bit? And I just thought that they were thinking car games until I remembered that Swift Bowl that you guys had played recently, and I absolutely loved that episode. I was screaming through the phone because I am a 1989 girly, and 1989 did not get justice in that game, but I understand where you guys were coming from and why it ended up that way, but I was screaming listening to that episode. But we decided to play our very own game of Swift Bowl on the way to the Eras Tour, and let me tell you, it was the most fun and interesting and competitive game. We ended up with Folklore, Red, Reputation, and Midnights going head-to-head, and the finalists were Illicit Affairs and You're Losing Me, with You're Losing Me coming out unanimously as the favourite and the winner over the whole game, which, fast forward to the next night, We got You're Losing Me as our surprise song in Melbourne, and I cannot even explain to you, that song is my favourite of Taylor's discography at the moment. I love it so much. We were all making so many jokes about the possibilities of us actually getting that as a surprise song, and there's no way she's going to play it, but maybe because it was our Swift Bowl winner, she'll play it, and she did, and I can't even tell you how much we erupted. We lost our minds. I cried through the whole song. It was such an incredible experience. But she completely threw a curveball because we were fully expecting a brand new song from the Tortured Poets department. She had done a speech on the piano, so we knew something was up because she doesn't usually do that. She started talking about how much she needs songwriting and she needed this to survive, and we were all heartbroken for her and listening so intently to every word she was saying. And then she announced the bolter and we were losing our minds, and we thought, oh my gosh, we're hearing a new song for the first time tonight. This is going to be such a surreal experience because the whole crowd is going to be silent. So we're there waiting to hear what it's going to be like, and she starts singing You're Losing Me, and the crowd erupted. I was in such a mess that the girl next to me, who I don't know, tapped me on the shoulder and said, do you need to sit down? Are you going to be okay? I was not okay, but it was the most incredible experience. All that following up from Red, which was amazing live, especially acoustic. I just loved it. It was such an incredible experience. And I think overall, you know, for us, we've been watching the Eras Tour live on TikTok since it began. We've been watching the movie. We've been watching everything on a screen the entire time. We've never had the experience live. And so to see it after experiencing it through a grainy live stream, even the movie, it's stunning, but it doesn't compare to being in the room with her and with all of those Swifties. And it was the most happy, joyful, emotional experience of my life. I had such a fun time. I danced all night. I sang, lost my voice. I'm usually not this husky. We just had the best time, and we ended up going and sitting outside of the MCG for night 2 to listen because we were just worried we would miss out on good surprise songs. And we had no idea what she had up her sleeve with that triple mashup, and there were about 50,000 fans outside the MCG that night, and it was unbelievable. The atmosphere, the sea of Swifties, people crying because they never got to actually go inside the stadium. It was heartbreaking, but it was also such a beautiful experience of Swifties coming together and taking care of one another and loving each other and just having the best time no matter what the circumstances. So all in all, it was exactly what you would expect an Eras Tour experience to be. We had the most incredible time. I'm still coming down from post-concert depression. I feel like I have a 3-day hangover from the dancing and the singing and the screaming and the crying and the throwing up, as Taylor would say. But truly, I just want to thank you guys so much for bringing the Swiftie community together in the way that you do, and for making a little girl in Australia so far away from you guys feel like she's a part of what you're doing and feel like she's a part of something bigger than herself. And that is how you make me feel. That is how you make the entire Swiftie community feel. So I love you guys so much. My last parting thoughts for you is that we ended up loving the Swift Bowl games so much that we continued to play with the other albums that we didn't get to. But we also did the vault tracks up against each other. We did a Swift Bowl with the vault tracks. So we picked the 4 albums that have vault tracks at the moment. We put them head to head, and we came out with Now That We Don't Talk on top as the best vault track, which, you know, justice for 1989 Taylor's version for me. I was so happy about that. But we had so much fun doing that. And so I don't know, if you guys are up for it, I would love to hear you guys do a vault track Swift Bowl, because there are some incredible vault tracks from Fearless, Red, Speak Now, and 1989. And I think that they would be some really, really fun games for us to play, and I think that the listeners would love to hear it and love to vote on the vault tracks. So I love you guys. Sorry that this is such a long voice message and you probably can't use it in the podcast, but whoever does the editing, thank you and sorry for talking so much. I just love you guys, and I just love the opportunity to talk about Taylor Swift, which I'm sure you understand because you have made it into a living. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to hear what you guys talk about next.
Thanks for listening. The Third Teen, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.